Hi guys, welcome back. So today we are going to be reading chapter 4 of Dog Sense. So let's get started. After Luke leaves, I throw the ball for Streak a few more times, then poke around the backyard fence, trying to figure out exactly how my dog made this earlier escape. The fence is patched together with sections Grandpa must have salvaged from different places over the years. Chain link lines one side of the fence, one side of the yard. Along the other is some kind of ancient wire fencing, like people used to keep rabbits out of the garden. Along the back, it's white picket and up near the house, he rigged up a kind of metal tube and wire combination with a rustling gate that leads in and out of the yard. I find two possible escape routes. In one place, one of the sides, the chain link hasn't been anchored and Streak could easily scoot under it. Grandpa has a pile of gravel next to the garden that sits on the alley, so I grab a shovel from the tool shed and throw a few shovelfuls along the loose fence bottom. Streak watches what I do with intense interest. That ought to keep you from getting out of here, I tell him as I smooth out the gravel. Streak has no comment. Now, what are we gonna do about the other spot? I asked him. The other place, I'm sure Streak can and probably did get out of the gate leading to the front. It's only about 3.5 feet high. Even though Streak stands just a little taller than my knees, his dog has springs in his legs. When I hold up a ball or stick, he can leap so high that he's looking me straight in the face. It's a little unnerving having him suspend in the air in front of me like some space dog, but I've gotten used to it. Anyways, it's easy to see that with one small leap, my dog is over the gate. It's not so easy to figure out what to do about it. As I'm studying the problem, my mom pulls up. I open the gate and Streak sprints out to greet her. "Hi, honey," she says, closing the driver's side door to our faded red Honda Accord. The car's got over 200,000 miles on it, and it was built about the time George Washington crossed the Potomac. It farts and belches more than Grandpa does, but still runs, so Mom hangs on to it. We're going to drive this car until it rolls over and dies, she tells me again and again. I keep telling her it already has. How was work? I asked, taking the grocery bag from her. Work was work, she says with a tired smile. Kind of slow, actually. The summer remodeling season's about over. Back in California, Mom has a behavioral therapist for kids with screwed up home lives and bad attitudes. I guess she made pretty good money, but when we moved here, she took a minimum wage job on an assistant in the interior design store owned by her old high school friend Sarah. I don't know why Mom didn't get another therapist job here. Sulfur breath alone could keep her and 2 to 3 other people employed full time. But she said she needed a change. In fact, the whole move up here seems to be about her needing a change. I didn't need one. I was just beginning to get used to my dad being gone. I had friends, we lived close to the beach, and I was learning how to surf. When my mom told me we were coming up here to live with Grandpa, I went ballistic. She tried to convince me that it would be fun, that I would love Montana, but I wasn't buying it. When that didn't work, she said we needed to be closer to family since we didn't have any in California. I told her she was all the family I needed. After dozen skirmishes over 3 or 4 days, she finally threw up her hands and said, "Guy, we're going. I'm sorry you don't like it, that's just how it is." I thought about running away to try and find my dad, but in the end I packed up my stuff and climbed into the Accord. Anyways, my mom says the job at the design store is just until she finds something else. I don't know what she's going to find in coffee, unless it's at some fast food dump like Burger Bite. As my dad used to say, we visited here. This place is deader than a damn doorknob. "How was your first day of school?" Mom asked, holding the front door open for me. It sucked. I see her cringe immediately and wish I'd just say it was okay. I try not to take things out of her, but sometimes it's not easy. It wasn't so bad, really. I backpedal as I slip past her into the living room. You have any trouble?" she asked, hooking a shock of her gray streaked brown hair behind my ear. Sarah down at the store said there are some rough kids in that school. No, I lie, Brad Mullen lurking in my brain. That's good. Big Sky seems to like it as good as yours in school right now in California. Right, it's okay. I tell her. Where's Grandpa? Is that you, April? Grandpa yells from the kitchen. It's me, Dad. My mom calls back. I follow her into the kitchen with the grocery bag. How are you and Sweet Molasses? Grandpa asks her. Oh, Dad, Mom says, leaning over to give him a hug. You haven't called me in years. The first time was when you spilled molasses all over the back seat of our Chrysler, he interrupts. You did? I ask. Mom blushes, something she's almost never does. You bet she did, Grandpa growls. We went out to the country fair when your mom was, how old were you, April? 7, she says. We had a brand new Chrysler, and your grandma and I love that car. Out at the fair, your mom here begged us to buy molasses from one of the stands. We told her she wouldn't like it, but she insisted. You know how strong-headed your mother can be. Tell me about it, I say. Anywhoots, we got back in the car and we're driving home. I guess she tasted the molasses. The next thing we know, she's pouring the stuff all over the back seat. Dad, I wasn't pouring it on the back seat, my mom protests. I was trying to put on some graham crackers that were bouncing around in my lap. Sure, Grandpa snorts. And I got all my teeth too, April. I should have taken you over my right knee then and there, but your mom stopped me. She always did have more patience than I did. I try to picture Grandma, but I only have one image of her in my mind. I was visiting up there when I was about 4 years old. I don't know why. I woke up early one morning and came out to find Grandma sitting in the kitchen reading the newspaper. When I came in, she gave me a warm, soft hug and asked, would you like some coffee? Mom and Dad never let me drink coffee before, but I always thought it smelled really good. Grandma poured me a big cup, and we sat at the same table. Grandpa is sitting at now. Of course, what my grandma gave me was mostly milk, but it made me feel grown up. We sat there talking and drinking coffee until everyone else got out of bed. Now I look at my mom and grandpa and wish that my grandma was still there. I wonder if she can make everything feel like it did before. And that was chapter 4. Thank you for reading with me, guys. Stay tuned for chapter 5.